Welcome to Hindu Infopedia. In part 1, we map the neighborhood soundscape and its psychological effects. In this part, we follow the downstream path, how repeated public messaging scales through technology into electoral incentives and institutional outcomes. Think of this as the practical arc of the Nadzia's doctrine statement, from exposure to power to policy. Begin with elections. Repetition doesn't just fill air, it sets expectations. Communities exposed to daily high-frequency messages often prioritize protection of those practices at the ballot box. That can look like consistent support for parties seen as accommodation-friendly and electoral penalties for leaders who question theological content or insist on strict parity. On the other side, many Hindu voters, long socialized to equate secularism with deference, may choose risk-averse positions, avoiding labels like communal, splitting between parties that signal accommodation and those that push assertion, and rewarding politicians who project minority sensitivity over governance metrics. India's courts place boundaries around overt sectarian campaigning. A 7-judge bench in Abhiram Singh v. C.D. Kamachin held that appeals to religion, caste, community, or language are a corrupt practice. But politics still reads signals. Parties craft messages that stop short of explicit appeals while telegraphing accommodation. The net effect? Electoral competition can drift toward who promises more protection for specific practices, rather than who proposes the most consistent constitutional framework. Now the democratic feedback loop. How electoral incentives translate into administration, courts, and culture. First, administration and policing. On paper, India's rules are content neutral. Loudspeakers require permission. There's a night ban from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And decibel caps exist. The Supreme Court has been clear that worship rights don't include creating a noise nuisance, and that amplification is regulable. Yet lived experience depends on local permissions and enforcement. That variability, rather than statute, often drives perceptions of asymmetry in mixed neighborhoods. Second, judicial guardrails. Case law supplies important limits. Church of God v. KKR Majestic Colony affirmed that the right to worship does not extend to disturbing others with noise. In the 2005 noise pollution orders, the court reinforced the nighttime ban and permission regime as a time, place, manner framework. Not a judgment on content. S.R. Bommai v. Union of India recognized secularism as part of the Constitution's basic structure, constraining sectarian state action. Shirur Mutt articulated the essential practices test. Courts distinguish protected belief from regulable modalities like amplification. Together, these holdings show the Constitution's equality and neutrality frame, even when politics pulls otherwise. Third, statutory governance examples. Consider the Waqf framework. The significant recent change was the 2013 amendment, focused on governance and oversight. Newer reforms emphasize transparency and board composition. These are structural levers, not technology mandates. Similarly, note the Hajj subsidy. The central airfare subsidy ended for Hajj 2018, shifting from direct budget support to facilitation. These details matter. They calibrate the difference between rhetoric and actual policy. Fourth, cultural and educational pipelines. Curricular decisions, like textbook rationalization and platform governance rules, like the IT intermediary guidelines, shape what people see and how disputes are resolved online. These are policy instruments, not theology, but they influence the climate in which theological debates unfold. The loop closes when administrative practice, court-bounded rules, and cultural pipelines make accommodation feel like default civic weather, hard to question without social cost, and easier to perpetuate than to reform. Technology multiplies everything. Loudspeakers standardize the local soundscape. Digital platforms standardize the national one. Streaming extends religious content beyond physical walls. Messaging apps and social media create coordination in real time. The result is scaling. Baseline daily broadcasts are multiplied by shares, forwards, and live feeds, standardizing messages across geography and groups. Platform enforcement controversies in India show how moderation choices can shape political religious discourse. The temporary block and restore of a high-profile hashtag, legal takedown requests during crises, and public disputes over government pressure. None of these prove religion-specific platform rules. They do show how enforcement decisions, errors, overbreadth, or compliance can tilt visibility and timing in ways that matter during elections. Cross-border dynamics also live here. Transnational channels, satellite TV, YouTube, live streams carry messages across borders. Diplomatic statements from international organizations or foreign capitals can amplify domestic debates. The important discipline is evidentiary. Cite specific documents when claiming funding or coordination. Otherwise, present those as questions for further research. Budget signals follow politics. Development schemes in identified areas, skill programs for specific cohorts, and endowment governance reforms each send cues about priorities. Whether one views these as overdue inclusion or uneven accommodation, the constitutional test remains the same. Are rules content neutral, equitably enforced, and aligned with equality before the law? Where claims imply resource diversion to religious technology, demand primary documents, budget heads, tenders, grant orders, before drawing conclusions. So what now? 3 principles keep the space fair without touching belief. 1. Content-neutral enforcement. Time, place, and decibel rules applied consistently, with transparent permissions. 2. Legal clarity and counterspeech. Protect the right to analyze meanings and effects without stigma, and anchor disputes in case law and measurable exposure. 3. Evidence standards. When debates invoke funding or coordination, insist on named sources and documents. If the contents of the video were found useful, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. To learn more, visit our blog at hinduinfopedia.in.